Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be looking at what are their thoughts and feelings about you and the connection right now. There are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Shaman Stone, along with these cards. Group 2 is the Flower Agate Star, along with these cards. And group 3 is the Quartz, along with these cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to, I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I've just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Shaman Stone, along with these cards, which I'll start with to get kind of a general overview about what are their thoughts and feelings about you right now and the connection. I've got expectation, adjudication, the gateway, adjacent possibilities, the thinking man, and earth changes. So with that card of adjudication, this can talk about somebody who is thinking about the need to restore balance in this connection. What may have looked like a dead end or a stalemate, something that was an impasse between the two of you, a block or a barrier. There's been a change. There's been a shift with that, with the earth changes. They've changed their mind about something. Where they saw an impasse, there is now a road of possibilities which has been opened to them, or which they are starting to contemplate with this idea of adjacent possibilities and gateway. The thinking man can also talk about kind of an apology that they are thinking of issuing to you, thinking about the right way to approach, the words to say. There's a little bit of hesitation and trepidation on their part, though, with expectation. they're almost maybe expecting the worst in this situation, or expecting that, and perhaps rightfully so, you may be a little bit skeptical about their motives when they reach out, when they come forward, that you may be a little bit guarded, that it may take some maneuvering on their part to kind of earn your trust back, to make their way back into your reality in some way. But there is a desire to create change. This may definitely coincide with this idea of gateway. It's a timeless reading, so whenever you're seeing this video, take the messages as they resonate. But we are, at the time I'm recording this, we are almost 2 weeks past that 11/11 portal, kind of right at the tail end of a cycle of eclipses as well. We've just kind of crossed over into Sagittarius season also. So a lot of this kind of liminal space, these changes which have occurred, this energy of transition. And it feels like for a lot of people, this has really been a motivation. There's been some things that have been stirred up within them, a lot of nostalgia that has been stirred up, a lot of potential and possibility. Perhaps also as the holiday season is approaching, again, kind of the end of November when I am recording this video. And they're starting to, really sort of think about, as the year even is wrapping up, the calendar year, and sort of thinking back on, the past year, what that's looked like, even further back in the past, kind of where they are at their life in general. A lot of contemplation, a lot of forward planning, a desire to kind of tie up some loose ends, to make amends. And this may definitely extend further than just this connection. They could also really be thinking about this, again, kind of in conjunction with that holiday season that's coming up. All of this kind of energy of transition and shift. We've just come out of Scorpio season, Scorpio energy being that phoenix from the ashes, that death and rebirth energy. Which may have been a very kind of difficult time for this person. A lot of changes and transitions energetically for them, and perhaps also in terms of their physical reality. They may have recently moved. There may have been changes with their job, changes with their family situation, perhaps some loss in any number of those areas that they have experienced, that has caused them to look at life differently, to appreciate life differently, to maybe not take life for granted, or to start to count the blessings that they do have, instead of focusing on kind of what is gone, what is lost, what they still need to accomplish. And so in some way, kind of these external changes, or changes that are happening in kind of their personal life, it has brought their attention back around to what has happened in this situation with you. An air of missing you, of wanting to really set the record straight, to make things right, to create this balance, this energy of restoration to this connection. Really thinking about that, contemplating that. What would that look like? What would need to be said or done in order to really shift this situation, either to provide closure for you and for them in this circumstance, or to turn the page in a major way in terms of a new experience, a new chapter that the two of you can have together. This idea of adjacent possibilities can also talk about somebody who, had really tried to squash this connection, move in a different direction. And they are now really kind of seeing you and appreciating what two of you had in this connection with fresh eyes. There is a desire to build, a desire to grow, a desire to repair and restore in this connection at this time. So I'm going to get a little bit of tarot to get some further clarification about this for you, Group 1. Okay, and we've got the Two of Swords, which is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, which in this deck is called peace. So this can really talk about kind of reinforcing what just came through with this desire to make peace in this situation, smooth out some troubled waters that the two of you have really experienced, that in this stalemate energy, in this kind of closed off energy, in the silence, there's been a lot happening beneath the surface. They're seeing things from fresh eyes, and are coming more into a place of trying to create peace and balance within themselves. A lot of regrets, a lot of things they wish they had done differently in their life and in this connection in general are really weighing heavily on their mind at this time. We also have the Page of Cups, which is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So this can talk about this desire to bring forth something, a very surprising, perhaps love offer, something, of tenderness. This can even just relate to kind of an offer of friendship coming forward to you, in a more vulnerable energy than they had been in previously. A desire to, not just kind of skip over the difficulties that you have faced together in the past, but this desire to kind of dive into those emotional waters with you. This Page of Cups can also talk about a little bit of that nostalgia, thinking about the better times that they shared with you, when things were kind of light, when things were easier, before all the complications set in, thinking back on kind of the genesis of the connection, the beginning stages of that, and a desire to move back in that direction. And with the swan here on this card, this definitely, is this energy of transformation. This black swan specifically can talk about a lot of that, these kind of subconscious fears or these subconscious feelings, kind of the shadowy energy between the two of you, what has not been spoken, or kind of the difficulties that you faced, a desire to, transform that, to create movement in some way that can help the two of you really come to a place of peace within yourself. There's a desire to kind of reconcile maybe some things that they had said that they spoke too quickly, they spoke very impulsively. There's this desire to really kind of give back to this connection, to show a deeper appreciation for you and the energy exchange between the two of you, which in the past they may have really taken for granted, overlooked, or misinterpreted. And we've also got the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. So more of that idea that in the silence, in the separation, as things have been kind of closed off or tense between the two of you, that there has been wisdom that has been gained. This person has been introspecting, thinking back on you, coming to a place of kind of balance and maturity within themselves. There's this desire to kind of evolve this connection past whatever this current state or stage is, a desire to bring forth some kind of truth or wisdom that they have gleaned, that they have learned in this last chapter between the two of you during this period of separation or silence. And we also have the Devil, which is Capricorn energy. So this can talk about that element of trepidation, those fears that are holding them back, not really certain if you will receive them, how that conversation will go, if they will really have the ability to convey everything that they are thinking, everything that they are feeling, fighting a lot of that at this point in time. This can also talk about some toxic sort of cycles and patterns within themselves, a toxic state that this connection has been in, and the desire to restore this, to shed light on some of these misunderstandings or even things that they had done in the past, some kind of toxicity, some kind of, deception, or even just a very one-sided connection. There is this interest in addressing these things, bringing these things to light, and kind of moving in a different direction, kind of unbinding the two of you from whatever the stale or stuck energy is, so that the last memories that you have of one another, if closure is what is the inevitable kind of conclusion in this situation, so you can end things on a better note, so that it's not this kind of lingering bitterness or this heaviness or this sorrow that the two of you are carrying around. A lot of shadow work that this person has been doing at this time, a lot of confronting of fears in very direct and indirect ways in their own life, which has really given them that perspective, that kind of challenge or task, or the opportunity to really grow and mature. And we also have the Eight of Wands, which is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And this is that confirmation of communication that they desire to make towards you. And in this deck, it says swiftness at the bottom of this card. So a desire to come in quickly, to not linger in kind of this energy of thought, a little bit of fear that is holding them back. But there is momentum to this. Again, kind of this idea of wanting to wrap things up, that the time is now, that there are some loose ends between you. And that to hesitate or postpone this much further would kind of ultimately be to their detriment, and would just sort of compound this heaviness and this energy of regret that they've been sitting in. So I'm going to get a few messages from their higher self to get a little more clarity on what they would perhaps like to say to you. What are they thinking and feeling at this time? Okay, and they say, I have a serious fear of both abandonment and suffocation. So this really could have been what triggered them in the past to sort of push you away or move away from this connection. A lot of these unhealed sort of shadows, these aspects of self that they were running from, that they may have really projected upon you, or somebody who could have been very emotionally avoidant, very emotionally immature in the past. It feels that they have gone through kind of this process of addressing some of these things, acknowledging some of these things within themselves, starting to take some personal responsibility for this situation, and also kind of how they've been showing up in romantic connections throughout their history, throughout their life. And so it can also be this element of kind of reflection, this insight and wisdom that has come to them in other ways that is causing them to sort of think back on what has happened in this situation, with the desire to kind of shift things with some new tools that they have acquired, a new understanding or perspective on themselves. They also say you inspire me. So they may be watching you from afar, very inspired by your personal healing journey, any kind of glow up that you have really gone through, the way in which with dignity and grace you have moved through the difficulties of this connection. It's an inspiration to them, and it kind of motivates them to continue to dig deep within themselves, to face and transcend a lot of the heaviness, darkness, and kind of unhealed aspects of self that they had been holding on to. They also say there is no good reason for the way I acted. I wish I could apologize. So again, confirmation of that energy of wanting to make things right, wanting to smooth things out, create balance in this situation. Somebody who has definitely gone through an evolution, a sort of a glow up or a maturation process in their own right, where they may have been used to kind of projecting blame onto others. They're starting to really see and decipher how a lot of the ways in which they'd acted in this connection and just historically, romantically, was really based out of this place of distortion. And they also say, I'm still healing. So definitely somebody who's a work in progress, although aren't we all? Healing is kind of like a spiral. It never ends. And this person is really starting to kind of come to that understanding that there's no time like the present. They may have been feeling for quite some time that they've wanted to reach out, kind of make amends, extend that olive branch, or just kind of get the energies flowing between the two of you in some way, again, get that conversation started. And so kind of this idea of when they come back towards you, they're almost letting you know from the higher self that there will be some kind of marked improvement, some kind of marked change, some kind of maturation that has taken place, but it is still in progress. They are still doing a lot of that heavy lifting, a lot of that shadow work. And so what you might see from them, this might not necessarily be something where the two of you can just sort of resume the connection. There may still be a lot that is going to be triggered, even this interaction between you, if they kind of work up that courage and reach out as it feels that they are very inclined to do at this point in time. It may only be able to go so far before, again, kind of those intimacy wounds are triggered within them, those abandonment and suffocation wounds. But it can definitely be this energy of a significant step in a new direction, a glimmer of hope that change is possible, and that the time apart has not been in vain, that this person has done some introspection, that they are in this process of healing, that they are taking matters into their own hands and making progress in a better direction. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you about this situation. So here is the artwork on this card, and it says only time will tell. So that is very appropriate guidance, that it is not guaranteed that this person will reach out. The energy is there for momentum to happen, for change to happen. You're on their heart, you're on their mind. They're doing a lot of healing of that heart, a lot of excavation of some deeply buried wounds within self. But again, this may be a situation where it requires time. It might just be baby steps with this person, kind of that first glimmer of hope that change is possible, that they're starting to do the work, but this may be something where it's slow steps, it's slow progress. So this really comes with this message of, just to continue with your own kind of process of healing, your own process of sort of growth and rebirth, and continuing to move forward in the direction that you feel guided, and, being open to that element of divine timing. This person definitely is thinking about reaching out, about making things right. And it's just a matter of if they can conquer their fears, what they may bring forward. It might be something small. It may be something where, it's a significant step, though, in the right direction. But this can be something where, it will take time to rebuild this. The two of you having really changed and evolved and having grown. This person's still in their process of healing. You still in your process of healing. So, while these feelings might be very intense between the two of you, it's almost this guidance not to rush completely into this situation. Let things develop very organically. Time is on your side in this circumstance, and there really is the energy and opportunity here to start fresh, build in a better direction, clear a lot of the kind of the wounds and the heaviness that still exists between the two of you. And from that place of kind of clearing the slate, clearing the air and the energy between the two of you, it kind of opens up that vista for new seeds to be planted and a new possibility to grow, either with some kind of reconciliation between the two of you, or it really just clears the energy for you to move forward in your life in other ways. So I'm going to get some initials for you. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got A, C, F, R, Q, D, T, U, Z, I, K, and G. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled love letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dreamcatchers, and suncatchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the Flower Agate Star, along with these cards, which I'll start with to get a general overview about what are their thoughts and feelings about you in the connection right now. You've got Official Person, Despair, Forgiveness, Strategy, Door to Value, and Floating Memories. So a lot of energy of nostalgia in this group as well. Some nostalgia was coming up in Group 1, so if you felt inclined to watch that, there may be messages for you there as well. But this really seems to be somebody who is focusing with despair on the spilt milk between the two of you. A lot of regret about things that may have been said, maybe very impulsively, stemming from a place of being deeply triggered, or even a little bit of people pleasing, some kind of fear of what other people might think of this connection, of being judged. Maybe they heard something about you, somebody kind of spreading stories, spreading rumors, misconstruing something that they observed or read or saw that they overreacted to, that they took that the wrong way. It feels that in the aftermath of all of that, they have really gained some kind of clarity with this idea of door to value. They have really been able to determine sort of the real McCoy in this situation. A little bit of, maybe kind of jealousy from other people, or just kind of that idea of rumors or gossip, and that this person has really come to the truth of that. There's a desire to reach forward with an apology, to ask for your forgiveness for perhaps misjudging you, misjudging the connection, or basing some kind of action on hearsay, or on, again, this idea of the opinions of other people. The strategy card really speaks to planning. They could be rehearsing a lot of this in their mind, sort of thinking back on the things that were said in the past, and it almost feels like making a list of topics that they need to cover, kind of a list of grievances that you might have towards them, or things that had really been at issue. This desire to, provide you that clarity by giving that illumination as far as what motivated them. This may have even just been a situation where they just cut you off completely and ghosted you with no explanation. And so again, there's this energy of kind of planning, wanting to cover the full litany or list of sort of what motivated that, feeling very, very foolish, very much in despair, very embarrassed by their actions in the past. The idea of Official Person also speaks to them holding you in high regard, or seeing you in a different light, recognizing you as a person of value. Feeling foolish for not having invested more in this connection. And this can even stem from maybe some difficulties that you were experiencing in the past, that other people in their lives are very judgmental of. They themselves were very judgmental of, if there weren't kind of third parties interfering in this situation. But you may have overcome a lot of these obstacles. You may have really risen from that, kind of this phoenix from the ashes of whatever those circumstances are. And this person is really now seeing you with different eyes. They may have really underestimated you, overlooked you in some way, and they are now recognizing your value. Not really sure if it's too little too late though. But kind of this burning desire within them to set the record straight, to try and create balance in this situation, to try to give you something of meaning, and also this desire to invest in this connection with door to value, a desire to, unblock communication, step forward, step out of the shadows, step out of that energy of silence, and deliver something of meaning to you, with the intent of kind of a seed that is planted between the two of you that has the potential to, really be nurtured and to blossom and to germinate, or at the very least, again, that apology and that explanation, in the interest of kind of alleviating the painful memories that the two of you have together, wanting to kind of clear the air, sort of balance things out between the two of you. in some way, this has really been weighing heavily upon them. Even if a significant amount of time has passed between the two of you, you continue to remain in their mind. They continue thinking back on kind of the last encounter with you, or the circumstances that led up to, again, something where you sort of went into no contact, or kind of a ghosting or a blocking situation. And there's a desire to kind of reroute the two of you with strategy in a different direction, to provide some kind of explanation or clarity, both to alleviate something within themselves and to hopefully provide you with some kind of restoration as well. So I'm going to get some tarot to get a little more clarification about this for you. Okay, so we have the Ace of Cups, which is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So this can speak to the desire to kind of move things again in this connection, move out of the stale energy, the stuck energy, the blocked off energy, and to kind of make some kind of expression or declaration, something that's been heavily on their mind and within their heart at this point in time. You definitely continue to hold a very precious space within them, and that really seems to tie into this energy of despair, kind of feeling like a fool for maybe taking the opinions of other people so much to heart, allowing other people to kind of meddle or interfere in this connection, not following their heart in your direction in the past. We've also got the Nine of Swords, which is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And in this deck, this card says cruelty. So this is tying in with that element of despair, a lot of anxiety, a lot of regrets that this person has for having treated you very cruelly, for listening maybe to the cruel things that other people said about you, or just some element that it was very unfair, them, abruptly kind of cutting off communication, not giving you any kind of an explanation, leaving you with all of these unanswered questions. It's something which, it is weighing very heavily upon them. It kind of ties in with this idea of floating memories, a lot of kind of nightmares or sort of reliving that, going back over what was said or what was done, maybe even sort of replaying in their mind the look on your face when they, just kind of very abruptly cut things off with you. That definitely haunts them. You are coming to them in dreams. They are almost having nightmares about this. And it's this nightmare kind of situation where they overlooked the gift that this connection had the potential to blossom into. They misjudged you or, overlooked you in some way, seeing you as a blessing, seeing you as somebody who, was worth investing in, that they had kind of walked away from or had chosen to move in another direction in a variety of ways. And that whatever they had, moved toward or had, chosen to invest in, maybe just even the opinions of other people or this element of fear or judgment within themselves, that it has really, the bottom has sort of fallen out on that, and they are kind of left at this energy of despair and this energy of loss. We've also got the Emperor, which is Aries energy. So this can talk about a little pride and ego that is still standing in the way of this person coming forward. They seem to be vacillating, going back and forth about the timing being off, perhaps, about saying something. Maybe a lot of time has passed. And so there's a part of them that just thinks that it's better to just continue forward, to let time continue to march on. They're not necessarily wanting to come into that place of humility, to ask for forgiveness or to, really express that they were wrong, that they, misjudged you, that it was unfair. But this can also really talk about kind of taking their power back as well, maybe closing out a lot of cycles with other people who had meddled in this connection, or who, even if it wasn't directly other people, it's this idea of something about the nature of this situation, something about the nature of you or what was going on in your life at the time when you were last dealing with this person. These kind of external factors, a fear of what people would think, how this would reflect upon them, that, they're taking their power back from that. They're no longer allowing that to, hold as much precedence. It doesn't hold as much weight for them. We've also got the Ten of Wands, which is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And in this deck, this card says oppression. So this really talks about the heaviness, the burden, feeling and understanding that they treated you very unfairly and that the circumstances between you have not played out as they have wanted them to, or as they had originally intended. This has been something where it is not an out of sight, out of mind situation. They are thinking back on the past with a lot of regret. It's weighing very heavily. It's a burden that they have carried with them from that point where communication was cut off or some kind of action was taken that sort of severed the harmony between the two of you. And we also have Seven of Swords, so more of that air energy. And in this deck, it is called futility. And so this can really talk about, again, sort of that energy of looking back, thinking back on the past, wondering if it's just too little too late, if it would really make any sort of difference, any sort of duplicity or sneakiness, the opinions of other people that had really sort of weighed heavily into this, or even just the idea of what would people think that this person had, placed a lot of precedence on to the detriment of this situation. It's weighing very heavily upon them, a very burdened energy here, and a feeling that something needs to be said, something needs to be done in this circumstance. They almost can't escape the memories of this circumstance, of what has happened, about how they treated you, how they misjudged you, how they overlooked the gift that this connection was, but not really certain about how to kind of move forward at this time and sort of correct the situation between the two of you. So I'm going to get some messages from their higher self now and get a little more clarification about their thoughts and feelings, maybe kind of what they want you to know from that higher self. Okay, and they say, I imagine you beside me as I fall asleep. So that dreamy energy is kind of coming in here with this floating memories, and also kind of the nightmares with the Nine of Swords. So thinking a lot about you at night, having dreams about this, meeting with you in the astral realm. It's almost this energy of a nightmare now that they have, really come to realize who you are, the ways in which they had misjudged you. Maybe things they are also with kind of the sneaky energy of the Seven of Swords, watching you from afar, something they have seen and recognized about, a glow up for you, things in your life that have really turned around. You've turned a new leaf. Something has really blossomed for you. You are in this energy of abundance. You have a lot of respect, self-respect even. And, it's something where, they're almost imagining the scenario between the two of you having played out differently, wishing they had made different choices in this circumstance, feeling the loss, feeling the distance between you very acutely. And it's something which definitely is haunting them. They also say, my heart will always belong to you. So this is that Ace of Cups energy, that love energy. This person in the past did not act in accordance with the wishes of their heart. They definitely acted from a place of ego, maybe concern about what other people would think, projections outside of themselves. And that has haunted them. That weighs very heavily upon them. It is something where they have not been able to replace you or to replicate the potential or the energy that existed between you in the past. There's been this longing. You have continued to sort of follow them through time, through this distance. On the other side of whatever walls they have put up, you are there within their heart. They also say, I feel ashamed for how I treated you. You did not deserve that. So this can reinforce that idea of, misjudging you, allowing other people to kind of meddle or interfere in this connection. If they blocked you, if they ghosted you, if they just cut things off with no explanation, or if they were very cruel and judgmental, this has definitely haunted them. They feel very foolish for this, very humiliated. They almost feel that they played themselves for a fool by allowing, gossip or kind of outside circumstances, or even just these projections and these judgments from within them to overlook the gift that this connection was. They also say, I regret my past mistakes and wish I could have another chance with you. So again, another confirmation of regret. Whatever action they took, whatever sort of strategy or method or approach that they had to you in this circumstance in the past, they do not feel good about this. They feel that a wrong choice was made, or that it was handled in a very immature fashion, but not really being certain about how to sort of correct this, wishing that things could be different, but not really sure how to kind of clear the air, move on from this point. So I'm going to get some guidance for you from Spirit about this situation. Okay, so here is the artwork on the card. And it says, when you pass from this world, you take nothing with you but your soul and the memories you have shared with those you love. So another confirmation with that idea of memories, and this can reinforce, the idea that if you were thinking, is this person, have they just kind of never thought about me again? Is this just sort of out of sight, out of mind? Then this card is a direct confirmation that you do remain within their heart. They are thinking back very actively, especially at this point in time, on what has happened between you previously. It's something which haunts them. It's something which sticks with them. And the guidance really at this point in time is to, search within yourself, feel into kind of the difficulties you faced with this person, the heaviness, the sense of burden. And instead of kind of waiting for them to kind of make matters right, waiting for an apology that they may, with that Emperor, they're still kind of operating in that pride and ego. They may not make that kind of leap, that transition from just wishing things could be different to actually doing something about that. So it may be a primary task for you at this point in time to, kind of unbind yourself from any of those tethers of resentment or hurt or shame that is associated with this circumstance. Free yourself, forgiving this person, not for their benefit, but in order to kind of unburden you so that you are able to move forward with your life, understanding that the actions that they took, the way in which they weren't able to appreciate you and see your value, it is not a true reflection of kind of your worthiness and your deservingness of a healthy and reciprocal love. Just because this person couldn't kind of step up to the plate or recognize your value does not mean that others will kind of follow in those footsteps. So any kind of heaviness that you're holding on to now, right, might really be the time to, just quietly kind of forgive this situation, let this situation go, so that you can free yourself, so you can liberate yourself to step more into that energy of abundance for you in your life. So I'm going to get some initials now, and this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. I've got H, U, G, X, S, Z, and J. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled love letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the Quartz, along with these cards, which I'll start with to get a general overview about what are their thoughts and feelings about you at this time. We've got concern, main female, blessings, healer of the ages, victory, and blue angel. So this person is sitting in this energy of gratitude and appreciation. They may really be sensing and feeling some love that you are sending them from afar. They are looking back on this connection. Or if this is somebody you are currently in communication with, maybe you have just had some kind of reconciliation with someone from the past. The door has just been opened for the two of you, starting fresh, maybe starting very, very kind of small, kind of step by step. They are feeling very blessed, very grateful for that, grateful for your presence in their life, grateful for the ability to start again, or to, even through whatever has happened between the two of you over time, to still have this bond, to be able to exchange this energy back and forth. They feel your energy in a very healing manner. They see you as somebody who really kind of mirrors for them not just some things, some wounds and triggers that they need to really work through, but in some way you anchor for them the best possible version of themselves that may be very difficult at times for them to recognize within themselves. They see you as a very angelic presence, as a very healing presence. This is somebody who, again, is kind of wanting to express this to you as well, with this kind of blue energy, this throat chakra energy. They may be a little concerned, a little fearful or hesitant about not wanting to overwhelm you, not wanting to jump too quickly to the next stage or level of this connection, wanting to say too much too soon, still kind of at this point of sort of contemplation, thinking about kind of how to go about this in the most appropriate way. This main female energy, this can talk about them really recognizing you as their counterpart, as somebody that they feel very safe with, very nurtured by. Again, this very healing energy and presence that you have. You really help them to kind of weather some storms as well within themselves. You make them feel that victory is possible, that it is possible to overcome even limitations of the perceptions of who they are, the limitations of what has transpired in this connection in the past. You may have really come toward them in a very forgiving energy, that you have been open-minded to what they have to say. You've been willing to work on these things. If it's still a situation where there's some distance between the two of you, like a no contact situation, they feel your energy as a very warm and inviting presence. You are urging them forward through kind of the layers within themselves, the shadows and the barriers within them that sort of stand in the way of emerging as a more authentic version of self, as a more healed version of self. In a lot of ways, they are looking to you as an example, maybe watching you from afar, watching you online, hearing about you even from other people about some changes that have occurred in your life, how you really have stepped into your own, you've really come into your power, you're standing in that authenticity, and you've had some kind of glow up within you and within your life, and it's this motivation for them to do that heavy work, to do that kind of that deep dive within themselves. You put them at ease. You ease a lot of this person's anxiety, a lot of their worry. They feel very capable in your presence. This is also somebody who is, regardless of sort of the nature of the dynamic between the two of you at this point, they are looking very much toward kind of the long-term potential of this circumstance, desiring, victory ultimately, desiring kind of this happily ever after with you, seeing that is really possible, recognizing you from a new kind of light, seeing you as somebody who who they really want to have by their side, somebody who can really help to kind of encourage them and be that sort of safe space for them to kind of work through and pick through some of their own issues and their own hang-ups. They're seeing you again in this very nurturing energy, this very loving energy, this very angelic and divine energy. You've got a very healing presence to others around you and also to them as well. This may have been something that had been overlooked in the past, but through some kind of no contact situation, in this kind of this card here of concern, and the man's got his hand over his mouth. So whatever it is that they are not saying to you, if it's a full no contact, or even if this is somebody who is kind of in your life at this point in time, the words that they are holding back are very different from what is happening on the internal landscape. They may be trying to play it cool, trying to keep things, just very platonic between the two of you. But there's this overwhelming urge to grow with you, to grow in the direction of something long term. They see a lot of potential in this situation that they may be kind of holding back or not expressing at this point in time. They are going through a process of internal metamorphosis simply by being connected to you remotely, or by directly interacting with you in a real-time 3D physical sense. So I'm going to get some tarot to get some clarification about this for you, group 3. Okay, so we have the Four of Pentacles, which is Earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, which in this deck is called Power. So this can talk about kind of that closed off energy, what they are not saying, what they are holding back from you is very different from how they are feeling. They are moving into this direction of seeing you as somebody who is this connection, and you are somebody is worth investing in. There's a desire to grow with this. They're seeing you as a very stable energy, a very stable presence within themselves. They are deeply appreciative of your honoring of their process, allowing them to kind of work through whatever hangups they have or whatever need they have had to kind of put the brakes on this situation. You are honoring and respecting the space that they have taken from this situation, regardless of what has happened between the two of you. Not even in the energy of being so much a pushover, but just you demonstrate for this person the true nature of unconditional love, that even though circumstances have not played out in the past or have not currently, are not in the energy of how you would like them to be, you're holding this person in a very loving space, which they are perceiving from afar. They are sensing that comes through in the interactions between the two of you, if you're in contact with one another, or if it's a complete kind of closed off and sort of blocked off energy. What they are feeling from you vibrationally, it's making them feel very safe. It's making them feel very seen and honored and respected. And it's something that they deeply appreciate. It's something that's very, they're not really accustomed to this, but it is helping them to really see your value, to kind of set you apart from others. We've also got the Devil, which is Capricorn energy. So this can talk about this deep desire that they have for you, a lot of attraction that they have for you that they are also not making known. It feels to go, beyond just physical attraction. There's something at almost the emotional level that is very, they're very much drawn to. It's almost borders on this energy of kind of obsession or addiction. They are addicted to your energy. They are addicted to this vibration of healing that you are and that you exude in everything. You really help to awaken a part of this person that had been dormant for quite some time. There is this desire to almost hold back, hold themselves at bay at this point in time because they don't want to get lost in this connection. They don't want to get carried away by this feeling. They may have a tendency toward codependency, or they have just been in very kind of surface level, very lust-based connections in the past. But the level of respect they have for you, the energy that they see you in, this very angelic energy, this energy of a blessing, there's a desire to and an acknowledgement of almost some things they need to work through within themselves to come to you in kind of this energy of reciprocity, where they are kind of healed enough to be able to reciprocate to you in a real-time 3D sense, this energy of kind of healing, this very ascended energy, this very nurturing energy that you provide to them. But this definitely is kind of that idea of make no mistake. underneath whatever they are holding back from you, on the other side of whatever walls or barriers are up, there's a lot of attraction. There's a lot of draw towards you. If they're watching you from afar, this almost feels that, it almost gives them a rush or a thrill when they kind of see you, when they interact with you, when they hear your voice, when they look at your pictures, whatever it is that you are really posting, some kind of social media presence you have, maybe some kind of a platform. This person feels to be almost that biggest fan, kind of on the edge of their seat, waiting for that little notification bell to go off so they can kind of see what the next installment is of what you're putting out there energetically. And we also have death, which is Scorpio energy. So this can tie into the idea of a reimagining, a resurrection, kind of the rebirth, the reincarnation of this situation is weighing heavily on this person's mind at this point in time. There is a desire to do kind of this healing work, to dig into those shadows, break through whatever toxicity or patterns or things that had caused them to really pull away, or causing them also to want to keep this connection at a distance at this point in time. They're digging around in that. They're digging around in that shadow aspect of self, looking for that courage, looking for that spark, looking for that inspiration. You are really helping them through this process, through this shadowy energy, through this dormancy. There's a desire to return to your life, or to if this is already someone who has in some way returned to your life, they are wanting to rebuild in a new direction, kind of taking the best of what you've experienced previously, kind of what they have learned and what they know love to be, and kind of infusing the seeds of potential that exist in this situation, to allow those things to germinate in a very positive direction. This is not somebody who is content with kind of this energy of an ending. They do not want to see the ultimate conclusion of this connection, but it may be in this necessary state of dormancy, but there are things stirring. There is still life to be had and to be experienced in this situation. There's a hopeful energy with this person as well, that the two of you can really resurrect this circumstance between you when the time is right. And we also have Seven of Pentacles, so more of that earth energy, although in this deck, this card is called Failure. And Seven of Pentacles is often this card of waiting, of divine timing, feeling that the timing is not right just yet, feeling a need to kind of hold back, to not express fully what it is that they are feeling, with this idea of failure. That again is that energy of not wanting to say too much too soon, not wanting to jump the gun in this situation, or understanding that there are things that need to evolve within themselves, that need to, if this is someone who has come back, that the connection needs to be reimagined. There's a desire to grow in a different direction rather than continue to kind of perpetuate some other cycles between the two of you. The owl on this card really speaks to this element of wisdom. So looking back on kind of the mistakes that they have made in other romances in the past, learning from that, trying to course correct in this situation, learning from the mistakes and what sort of went wrong between the two of you previously, and a desire to kind of evolve from that place, to move forward in more of a solid and stable energy, so that this connection can be nurtured, so that this connection can be long lasting, so that there can be balance, this idea of healer of the ages. They're looking at this in terms of longevity. And we also have Five of Swords, which is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And in this deck, it is called Defeat. So failure and defeat, two confirmations there where, there's still this element of shadows that this person is working through, feelings of not being good enough, questioning if what they have to offer to you, or almost these shadows that they are being confronted with, that you are energetically and in other ways really supporting them through that process of growth. Not wanting to lose this connection eternally, not wanting to lose a chance with you by maybe coming forward or coming at you with an intensity, making promises that they are not really at this time prepared or able to keep. This can tie into kind of this idea of some shadows and things that have been triggered within them that they are acknowledging they still need to kind of unbind themselves from. This can even be maybe some outside circumstances, other situations that they are in, other circumstances in their life that really stand in the way of the two of you and this free-flowing exchange of energy between you. So a desire, this swords energy, this mental energy, this air energy of kind of restraining themselves, trying to use more of a logical approach to this situation, a practical approach, wanting to move towards you, wanting to grow and develop this connection. But when the time is right, somebody who is very methodical at this point in time, who has learned from the mistakes of the past in this circumstance or in other romances, and is trying to course correct in this situation so the two of you can move toward that energy of really sustaining the blessing and developing that blessing that exists between the two of you energetically, and so that you can really, kind of wage through these battles and kind of wade your way through this developmental stage between the two of you with this ultimate goal of having victory. They see you as a long-term person, as someone they want by their side, but it may just, the timing might be kind of off for that, or they're wanting to take things very slow, kind of piece by piece. A lot of things that are tangled in both of your lives or internally within this person that they are needing to work their way through before they can really give you their all or give you what they feel that you are worthy of, kind of meet you at that level, that very balanced energy, that angelic energy, coming to terms with the light and shadow within self so that they can reciprocate that to you in a healthy way. So I'm going to get some messages from their higher self now and see, what does this person want you to know? More of their thoughts and feelings at this time. Okay, and they say, you see beneath my masks to the real me. So they are very much aware that no matter what they are not saying, they feel that you are maybe almost very intuitive. You can sense, you can really perceive these feelings that they have for you, that they are holding within. There feels to be a very palpable chemistry, a very palpable attraction between the two of you. Although these words may not have been spoken, you may not be at that point in this situation, or if this is somebody from your past who has returned to your life, you may still be kind of at that beginning stages, kind of feeling each other's boundaries and barriers and kind of slowly evolving into this. This person feels very safe and very seen in your presence, but this is also really illuminating for them. Again, a lot of that tangled energy, a lot of these shadows, things that they are cognizant of that they need to really clear out in their life before they are able to open their heart fully to you. They also say, you're so much stronger than I am. So they are very inspired by the strength of this gentleness that you hold within you, this nurturing energy, this fiercely self-loving energy that they really sense emanating from you. What they may know about kind of your story or what you are focusing on at this point in your life, what you've been through, things that you may have overcome. If this is someone from your past, kind of how you've picked the pieces up in the aftermath of sort of going into this no contact, this separation situation. They're really admiring that. It's helping them to really see you in this very beautiful healing light, because you have been that source of healing, that remedy for yourself. By healing yourself, you essentially help to heal this person. You inspire this person. You point this person in the direction of, no matter how deep the heartbreak or the devastation, that it is possible to kind of rise from those ashes, to sort of reimagine oneself, to pick up those pieces, and to maintain dignity and a sense of love and a sense of grace, rather than being embittered by circumstances. They're seeing you as somebody who has really become instead more compassionate, more loving, despite what you've been through. And they deeply admire that about you. It's also something which is bringing up this feeling of inadequacy within them, and kind of as they're looking around at all these tangles or complications within them or within their life, there is this urge to again kind of continue to hold back. The timing might not feel right. They want to be able to come to you in that same energy of confidence and strength and availability that you are really exuding and have cultivated for yourself. And they also say, sorry, I did not see your value and worth when we were together. So the things, the qualities, these kind of underlying and subtle things about you, this nurturing energy, this sort of quiet strength, this ferocity within you, this grace and this delicacy even. These are things which, aside from kind of the physical attraction that they have to you at a soul level, at an emotional level, they are really recognizing you as somebody that you possess these kind of intangible qualities that they are putting a lot more value on. They're putting a lot more precedence on these things. There may have even been time that has gone by and that they've kind of matured. They've come into their own in some way to where kind of the qualities that they were looking for, or the way in which they had structured their life, any kind of toxic patterns, lifestyle choices, behaviors, it feels that these things have really come to a conclusion. They've kind of grown out of that. They're maturing past these things. And as they're kind of looking back on their romantic history or thinking back on this connection in you, they are seeing you as somebody who, possesses all those qualities of someone that they can build toward, build in a stable way, build a foundation with, very much a partnership energy, as opposed to, things of the past that they may have been interested in or moved toward that just fed their ego. They also say, a part of me died when I let you go. So confirmation there with that death energy. And again, this desire to move towards you, but with the capability to sort of reimagine or reinvigorate this connection in a new way. In this process of kind of coming to this place of reconciliation within themselves, learning some new tools of communication, growing and maturing in some way, so that what they have to bring to you is not just a repeat of these same cycles and these same patterns, but it's this desire to have a fresh start with you, to do things right, a feeling that the timing may have been off between the two of you in the past, but that time has really afforded them kind of this perspective and this wisdom, and that it almost feels that the kind of their sense is that it was a huge mistake. It was a grievous mistake, overlooking you, moving away from this connection, shutting you out, closing you off, rejecting the very healing vibration that you had to offer to them, and that it feels like they've been in almost a very desolate or disappointing, a very lackluster period of their life. This has been very necessary, though, for them to come to that place of perspective. There's this desire to put a conclusion to sort of whatever phase or stage you find yourselves in, but also this desire to take things very slowly, kind of those first seeds that will sort of sprout and will tenderly be nurtured and protected and germinate. Something where they don't want to rush into this circumstance. They don't want to say too much too soon and risk kind of disrupting things or setting things off course. They place a lot of precedence and value upon you. They see you as somebody that they want by their side long term. And it may be a very gradual process to kind of coming back to that, a desire to breathe life back into this situation. And this can also really tie into this idea of somehow you bring this person back to life. You've awakened something within them, this feeling that the challenges they face externally or within themselves can be overcome, that there is kind of light in the other side of this sort of this darkness or this disappointment or kind of this closed off phase that they are in, kind of this limited energy or limitations they perceive around them. You invigorate them, you give them hope. They are feeling and sensing and deeply appreciating the loving space that you are holding them in and the love that they feel you send them from afar. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you about this situation. Okay, so here is the artwork on the card. And it says balance. Love is not always about agreeing just for the sake of it. A great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. So this really is talking about, again, that energy of deep appreciation that this person feels towards you for honoring their boundaries, honoring this need for space, need for them to kind of come to these conclusions on their own. As much as you're able to anticipate kind of what is beneath the words that are spoken or kind of what resides on the other side of the silence, that you are just sending them love from afar. You're not kind of pushing them. You're not pressing them. You're not being very constrictive or expectant. This is a love which allows. It is something that is very unlike what they have known before. And it's something to where it is really, you're encouraged to continue to operate in that energy, continue to move forward towards your own kind of growth, your own healing, continuing to, stand in your authenticity, stand in your light and shine that forth, being that healing for yourself, and understanding that in this process of kind of healing you help to heal them, you help to really be that example for them, be that safe space. So continuing to become that love and embodying that love you wish to experience can definitely be kind of the best recipe or the best formula for kind of the organic and optimal results, that energy of victory to develop in a very natural way and in the time and manner in which it's meant to in this circumstance. So I'm going to get some initials. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got P, A, Q, I, O, K, Z, B, U, and Y. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the video. If you like the reading, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled love letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dreamcatchers, and suncatchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.